Hello, we are here for More Happier, a podcast where we get more happier. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, Gretchen.
So today we'll talk about something that I've been meaning to tell Elizabeth about her work life and how it connects to me. And we will also talk about a great way to cultivate friendship.
Yes. Now, Gretchen, before we get to what's making us more happier, we wanted to mention someone who made a lot of people more happier, and that is the actor Leslie Jordan, who died this week.
Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, talking to him, we did that in episode 322 when his book, How Y'all Doing, came out. And I mean, when people say someone is a ray of sunshine, it's like a joke because it's so overused. It's this trait. But he had such a rare spirit.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, he was a Southern gay actor, comedian who during the pandemic, he started using Instagram and doing like these little Instagram videos. And he just got so incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Because he just had so many funny stories. And he would also, we talked about on the podcast, before we even had him on, I had talked about how much I loved his Sunday hymns that he would sing on Instagram on Sundays. And I think he got up to almost 6 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So he's someone who had real fame and was sort of really coming into his own in his 60s.
Yeah.
Which was delightful as well as just him being a delight. And then remember, Gretchen, we had him on Fantasy Island in our Day of the Dead episode.
No, it was funny because when we interviewed him, you were like, oh, we should try to get you on Fantasy Island. And he was like, yeah, just tell me when to show up or something. Yeah. And then it was so cool. And it was such a great episode. Like, I love that he was in a plot about kind of afterlife and things. And I love that kind of story. And I mean, it was just so full circle that you were able to bring him onto Fantasy Island after that.
Yeah. So anyway, if anyone wants to watch that episode, let's see, it's on Hulu and it's called, I think, Day of the Dead or Dia de las Muertas. Anyway, there has just been an outpouring. Like, so everyone is sad about this.
I saw that Dolly Parton wrote a letter. I'm like, wow, if Dolly Parton talks about your what a spirit you were.
Yes.
Yeah. It was interesting because he really was having his moment and like he wrote his book and he released these albums and he was doing all this TV.
So somehow it makes it even sadder, but I mean, it's great that he got that.
Yeah.
But it somehow makes it seem even more unfair that he was just living his best life and then just that got cut off.
Yeah. He brought a lot of happiness to a lot of people.
He brought a lot of happiness. Yes. So thank you to Leslie Jordan for bringing so much happiness.
Yes. Okay. So Elizabeth, what is something making us more happier? What's something making you more happier?
Well, Gretchen, one of my weaknesses, I feel, as a mother is in the world of traditions. I am not great with traditions. We fell off of dyeing Easter eggs. I'm just not someone like you. I don't celebrate minor holidays. I don't get out the right plates and everything all the time.
Yeah.
But one tradition I feel I've managed is the last few years since the pandemic, we've had Jack's little group of friends over for Halloween, and we were doing a thing where we would just put it would be the kids and parents, and us parents sit in different places in the house, in the yard, and just let them trick or treat to us. So they still get to trick or treat, but they weren't going in the neighborhood because you remember trick or treating was not happening for a couple of years. And now it's back, but they still just prefer this, I think, because they're getting older. So now I feel like it's kind of a tradition. We're doing it again this year. They wear their costume. They come over. We all hang out. And it just makes me happy that I feel like I'm managing to create a tradition. And it's an easy one.
Well, yes, we're all about the easy tradition. But you know what, Elizabeth, I'm picking up because you also just had a dinner party for just grown-ups that had a sort of a Halloween theme. Maybe you kind of want to own Halloween.
Wow, maybe.
Because Halloween is really fun. You can take it big or take it small. There's a lot of visual elements. There's a lot of fun to it. And it seems like you have an attraction to it. Or maybe it just happenstance that's when your dinner party was.
Well, I do have some of the Halloween decorations, which helps.
Yes.
Also, I should note, who knows a year from now if this will still be a welcome tradition. But if not, maybe I can still have parents over, his friends' parents.
Right. Or maybe it's not like getting dressed up and trick or treating. It's just like a
Right.
party, but with like a
Yeah.
Halloween theme. Well, that's great. No, I think I love little traditions, easy traditions.
Yes. Yes. And I just get
Yeah.
pizza and salad. I mean, that's simple,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
I'm a big fan of using food dye, like dye stuff a color and the
Well,
crowd
that's
goes
even too
wild.
much for me, Gretchen.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What would you dye?
Oh, well, so when I do a holiday breakfast, I dye the milk orange
Oh,
and I
wow.
will I would turn the peanut butter, because for years Eleanor had peanut butter on toast with a glass of milk for her breakfast. So I would make the milk orange and I would dye the peanut butter black and I would cut it into the shape of like I have a ghost shaped cookie
Oh,
cutter. I mean,
wow.
it was like vaguely looked like a ghost.
Yeah.
And I guess now that I think, oh no, and I had one that looked like a bat, and I guess that makes more sense. It was like a
Oh,
black bat if you really used your imagination. And then I would set the table with our little pumpkin faces, and I'll post in social media when I do
yeah.
it.
I want to see
So it
it.
was more the fun of doing it, or like just the breakfast was a little bit different. It wasn't
Yeah.
something too spectacular. But yeah, Netch does her
Mm.
own breakfast, so I do a symbolic thing. Yeah. But I
Right.
do. I like an easy tradition.
Yes. You're good with the traditions. I'm trying. I am trying.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's making you more happier?
Okay, so on regular Happier, we've been asking people for gift ideas, and I don't know why. It's like even if there are things that I don't even want myself or I don't know anybody who would want them, I get an enormous kick out of seeing people's gift ideas. It's just fun to see what people come up with.
It's sort of like one word themes. You know, we're saying we're endlessly fascinated with other
Yeah.
people's one word themes and the explanation of the
Yeah.
themes. That's same with gifts. It's endlessly fascinating to see a gift idea and why someone thinks that's a great gift.
Right.
It's just
Well,
like a little window into humanity.
and then when you have one to recommend, and clearly
Oh,
people are so excited, like they send it to you.
yes.
And like for me, Elizabeth, the Shishibo shape shifting box, which is this kind of like a Rubik's Cube, but it unfolds into all these patterns and it's so fun to manipulate. And it's like, I don't know, it's magnets. It's really just interesting. If you're anybody who likes to fidget with something or like have something on your desk, it's bonkers. And I'm just like, this is the greatest idea of all time. Everybody's got to know about the Shishibo shape-shifting box, because if this is the kind of thing somebody likes, they will really, really like it. And if you
Yeah.
can get two, it can connect them if you want to make it bigger. I just find it endlessly energizing.
I was gratified because you called to tell me about it. And I'm like, I already got that for Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, it's the coolest thing. And it's not childlike, so you could give it to an adult as well as to a child. It's like a kaleidoscope kind of thing. So
So
that's really
that's
cool.
one idea, and
Yes.
we'll have many others. In
Okay, but here I
our-
want to do a teaser for
Oh,
another kind of gift,
okay.
because one of the things we're talking about is things that you don't buy.
Yeah.
And also stocking stuffers and things children can make. So like all the different categories. So we talked about doing the Five Senses portrait
Mhm.
several episodes ago on Happier, and somebody sent an idea of like how she turned that into a gift idea, which I would never have thought of. And so I can't wait to talk about that, because again, it's like you see how people take ideas and run with them, and it's just
Yes.
so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to just get into all these and tell everyone. So that'll be coming up in a future happier
Yeah.
episode.
Well, keep sending them in, please. Yes, we
Yes.
want lots of cool ideas. So send them in, send them in. Yes.
Okay, Gretch, coming up, there's something you've been meaning to tell me. But first, this break.
Okay, listen, this is something I've been meaning to tell you. Just like in terms of something that makes me happier, I was realizing it. I sort of hadn't focused on it. And then I realized like, oh, actually, this is a huge source of happiness for me. Okay, so you know how over the last couple years, we have fallen into this thing where when you and Sarah are doing a pitch, which is a huge undertaking, which takes, dozens
Yeah.
of hours of preparation and rehearsal, and there's slides, and you get a blowout and the whole thing.
Yeah.
You'll ask me for a quotation.
Yes, because I love to add a quote. Yes.
Yes. And I love the fact that in my own little way, there's something that is like one of my superpowers can contribute to your effort. Like when this last one, when you asked me, I felt so proud. I was like, oh, it's time for me to do my magic. And so I just feel like I get so much satisfaction from just this tiny contribution that I can make.
Well, Gretchen, it's a huge contribution, first of all. And I like put you on the task immediately. And I must say, it makes me happier too, because it saves me a ton of time. I mean, anyone who knows anything about you knows you are the queen of the quotation.
I
So
do love
you
a
really have
quotation. I do
hundreds
love a
and thousands at your
Yes.
fingertips that you somehow remember the essence of so many so you could get to them easily.
Yeah.
And we did this for Fantasy Island.
Yeah.
We had a straight to series pitch. So that was like the height of stakes.
Yeah.
And you gave us an amazing quote that we used.
Yeah. I think it was the one from like Water for Chocolate, Laura Esquivel. Each of us is born with a box of matches inside us, but we can't strike them all by ourselves.
Yes.
And that was so great because it was all about how to unleash and how to
Yes.
transform. Yeah.
Yes. And Sarah and I are working on a pitch now, and you gave us a great quote. So it makes me as happy or happier than it makes you, I think.
No, it's so fun.
Yeah. And by the way, Gretch, anything is made better by a quotation, any presentation. I mean, I would say for anyone who has to get up in a meeting and do a presentation, like, doesn't matter what it's about, even if it's just morning announcements, like over the intercom at school, anything is better with a quotation. So I advise everybody. Now, they don't all have you at their fingertips, but you can spend the time and find a quote. It really improves any document, which is why Sarah and I always have at least one quote in our pitches.
It elevates it, I think.
It does.
And it shows, it adds like a transcendent level. And it also shows like the way you guys use them, it picks up some big theme that maybe in the back and forth of like all the pieces about the show, it clarifies that big central idea.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I have to like hold
we know
myself back.
you love
Yeah,
quotes.
every time I do something, I have to go through and like take them out because I put in too many, and too many quotations does become distracting and weighs something down, and it breaks my heart every time to leave some out. But in fact, Winston Churchill said something about like reading a book of quotations is good for an educated man or something like that. So, see, there's a quotation right there.
There you go.
Like,
there
I
you
can
go.
look it up if we wanted to do it. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And tell Sarah too that I just get the biggest kick out of it. Yeah.
Good. I will pass that on. All right, Gretch, what is our spotlight on a tool this week?
Okay, so this is a tool of mine. So we're all about the know yourself better and the idea that when you know yourself, you can figure out how to set yourself up better to be happier, healthier, more productive, and more creative. And yet it's hard to know ourselves because you think, I just hang out with myself all day long, but so much clouds our vision. And so I have these Know Yourself Better journals that are full of questions that are meant to illuminate your nature and then also maybe point you in different directions about, like, if you know that you're a morning person or a night person, then you can set yourself up better. So of everything in my shop, the Know Yourself Better journal was one of the very most popular ones. And so I decided to create more specialized journals. I mean, there's certain challenges that are very, very common. Like just about everybody in their lives will face this kind of challenge. And so there's a Know Yourself Better journal that's called Embracing Change. So this is for people who are going through transitions. And the thing about transitions is sometimes you are choosing them, like you're going to, leave your job and move to a new city, turn to a side hustle. And then sometimes they just happen, like your kids go to college or you get laid off. And so you're facing a change like that. And so there's questions that are about embracing change and dealing with change and transition. And then the other one is about building connections, because ancient philosophers and contemporary scientists agree that relationships are the key to happiness. They're so important. And so understanding yourself and how you might be alike or different from other people and thinking through that so that you can build better connections is something that's going to make you happier. And I think some people just enjoy the process of pondering these kinds of questions. Like, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Whether you're taking a quiz or answering a Know Yourself Better question or just talking to your college roommates in the middle of the night, doing self-examination, it's just fun. So we have these journals. And so you can buy them individually, or if you want to buy them as a set, or like you want to give them as a gift as a set, you can have a bundle of all three. And I love the illustrations for them, I have to say, for the covers. They're
very pretty.
Beautiful covers. And you can find those at happiercast.com/journals.
Gretchen, do you have them? Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do. Hang on. Let me go get them. Stay tuned. I'm still not 100% used to YouTube and the fact that we can shut. So this is the classic.
Yes.
Know yourself better. This is building connections. I love this cover.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that beautiful blue. And then this is, oh, this is the Don't Break the Chain tracker. Hang on one second. Here we go. This is the Embracing Change. It still has the belly band on it. So I want to
Yes.
keep that on there to keep it pristine
Looks
for a while before I
gorgeous.
start doing it. Yeah, so that's really fun.
Yay. Gretch, just a little drive-by fun fact. This week, Sarah and I discussed a question, which was kind of a know yourself better thing, or know someone else better, which is, are you dealing with a managing expectations person or a creating expectations person?
Ooh.
So if you want to know more about that, listen to Happier in Hollywood episode 285.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I'm not sure exactly what that means, so I can't wait to listen. Excellent.
We explain it.
Okay, great.
All right, Gretch, coming up, I have a lesson from the Real Housewives. But first, this break.
Listen, I love the way that you glean so much wisdom from the Real Housewives. You are my sister to Sage. You find this wisdom everywhere you look, including the Real Housewives. So what is it that the Real Housewives have shown you?
Okay,
about
well,
happiness?
yes, I love the Real Housewives. I'm up to listening to about 4 or 5 different Real Housewife podcasts. It's just I can't get enough. And recently there was BravoCon, which was this convention in New York City where all the housewives got together and other Bravo shows, and people bought tickets and they had panels and signings and merchandise. Anyway. And I was just texting all the time with my friend Nichelle about what was happening at BravoCon. And it led me to think about how Nichelle and I share a love for the housewives. And she is like my friend who loves the housewives.
Right.
So she's someone I always before wanted to spend more time with, wanted to talk to more, wanted to just be more engaged with. But I sort of, how that can just not happen.
Yes.
And then we started reaching out to each other 2 or 3 years ago about the housewives, and we've built this really great housewife relationship. And to me, the lesson in that is if you have an interest, whether it be the housewife or baseball or magazines, whatever it is,
Yeah.
reach out to that person that you really want to connect with, who you know shares that interest, and it can really enhance a relationship and kind of create something really wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I had something very similar with children's literature, my children's literature reading group. So I love children's literature, and I had been thinking about wanting to start a group about it, but I didn't know at that time, I didn't know anybody who was interested in children's literature. And this was a while ago, before it was so in the popular mind.
Yes.
And I had, like you said with Nichelle, like there was somebody I really liked, and we were having lunch, but it was sort of like not clear how the friendship could move forward. It was just, she was an agent, I was a writer, we were bookish people, but I didn't really see it. And then she said something and she's very, very sophisticated. And she said something in passing that made me think, oh, she knows Harry Potter. And I said to her, you sound like you know Harry Potter. And she said, oh, do I know Harry Potter? And I said, so then we started talking about that. And then I was like, oh, I'm thinking about starting a children's literature reading group. Do you think you would like to do that? And she said, I would like to do that. And I have another friend who I think would also like to do it. And again, it's like, and through that group, through that passion, I've had friends that I would otherwise probably never have met, or if I met them, I might have really liked them, but there would have been no way to move the relationship forward. Why are you texting someone? Why are you seeing somebody? Why are you making consistent plans? And then it elevates something that you love.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It not only is nice because now I can have something to talk to my friend about, but it makes me enjoy the shows more because I'm watching with that in mind. And so both things are more enjoyable.
Yes. Well, this is why I envy people who love sports.
Yes.
Because I think sports is great for this. I could not care less about sports. I don't even watch the Olympics. I don't like to see people lose. So that's not good for sports, because that's but I just think it gives so many people a reason to go places, and a reason to talk to people, a reason to talk to strangers, a reason to have adventures, ups, downs, things to be interested in. If you're interested in sports, there's always something, there's always some podcast. It's kind of like the Real Housewives. There's a lot to mine. You're not going to come.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I think it's like it's great if you're like really into basketball, but if you're not, you have to find like, well, what are the other things that you could do,
Yeah.
and you could find the people to share. Well, that's great. Oh yeah. Well, we talked to Michelle on Happier. I remember. I can see why you would like. It's fun to be friends with her. She seems super
yes.
cool.
She's wonderful. And so is Bravo and all things.
Yeah, well, you'll have to go to
BravoCon
BravoCon together.
It's on
you
my
can
bucket
stay
list.
with me.
You know that.
23 for 23. It's coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Gretchen, what's our quotation today?
Okay, this is actually 2 quotations because they are linked. And I have to say they are linked to my one-word theme for the year. So they really caught my attention because they are about salt, which is my one-word theme for 2022, which is coming to an end. So this comes from Carl Uwe Knausgaard, whose work I love. The first comes from the essay Salt from the collection Summer. Everything salt touches becomes better as if by magic, and often in irresistible ways, like the ocean. How fresh and bracing the salty ocean is compared to the sweet fresh water of inland. I love that. And then I think this is very mysterious and enigmatic. Also in Summer, he writes, sugar cares only about itself. Salt brings out the best in others.
Wow. That's a good quote.
Well, it's a good quote for me, especially because, like, how great is that?
Who knew when you picked salt, there was going to be so much poetry around it?
I had no idea. And I was inspired by you because you always pick these, like, very interesting. Well, I was picking things like delegate infrastructure. I finally was like, okay, I got to step up my game. So yes, I love salt. In fact, I got to wear my salt T-shirt when we talk about the one-word themes, which you gave me because you do love a theme gift.
I do.
So, Elizabeth, are you feeling happier?
Yes, I am definitely feeling more happier, Gretch.
Oh, yeah, more happier.
Want to say thank you to Chuck. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Twitter at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm at Elizabeth Kraft. Our email address is podcast@GretchenRubin.com. And for everything related to this episode, links, photos, and more, go to happiercast.com. Bye, Gretch.
Bye, Elizabeth. The best time to start a happiness project is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
Gretch, are you narrowing in on your one-word theme for 2023?
I am. I've got 2 contenders, but I think one has more like layers. You know how sometimes it's a word that can kind of go in a lot of different directions. So I thought about that. Oh, but I was listening to Office Ladies podcast, which I love. And Jenna Fisher said, well, good TV is lightning in a bottle. And that's what happened with The Office. And I thought of you.
Yes. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear.
And what about your theme?
I'm thinking I have one contender, but I don't know that it's the one. So, still thinking.
Hello, if you are watching this show here on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button right below the video. It really helps other people to discover the show. From the Onward Project.